All right, B. So this question, this is a big one, man. So this gentleman asks, how can I prepare myself as a first-time father after not growing up with one myself?
Yeah, that's a great question. And there's a 50% divorce rate out there. A lot of men are growing up without fathers in their lives. That doesn't mean that they don't have father figures. So I guess one thing I would say is if you're already a grown-ass man and you never had a father figure and you're about to be a father of a daughter or a son and you're like, I don't know how to father them, I don't know what to do. One of the best places to start is actually asking those who are great fathers, right? Mm-hmm. Like you certainly might know a great father and you might be like, hey bro, you're a good father. We work together. I see how you are with your kids. I'm just curious, man, if there was like 10 things that you do as a father that, you know, you would pass along to someone like me who's about to be a dad, what would those 10 things be? And then ask questions about each one. Like, oh, can you go in depth about that one? What do you mean I need to take my daughter out on date nights when she's 5 or 6 years old? What do you mean I got to have these adventures with my son? What does that look like? Why? What's the purpose? And I go, oh, because of this, because of the bonding, because of that, right? And so one, there's got to be some fathers around you that you can emulate and ask questions for. And you have to put the ego and the pride aside and literally say, hey man, you're good at that. These are the things I'm good at. So if I could ever help you with the skills I'm good at, let me know. But man, you're a good father. Can I ask you for some advice? It's kind of embarrassing, but didn't have a good father figure in my life. So can I ask you? Everyone's going to say yes to that. Number one. Number two, there's 3 books that I would encourage this person to read. And the 3 books would be Wild at Heart by John Eldredge, The Way of Men by Jack Donovan, and then Raising a Modern Day Knight. And I forget the author's name. Those 3 books, Wild at Heart, The Way of Men, and Raising a Modern Day Knight, will also empower a man on his journey as a father, right? A lot. And then thirdly, I would say is there are now great organizations and circles that you can put yourself in. My friend Ryan Mickler has the Iron Council. I think it's like, I don't know, like $59 a month or something. It's an online thing. It's a tribe of men. We've got the project, right? That men can go through the project and experience this brotherhood and have this camaraderie. There's so many different organizations that elevate men who don't have a male figure, haven't had a male figure in their life, and now need to become the male figure in their child's life and realize, I don't know what the playbook looks like. Mm-hmm. So between having mentors and asking questions of good fathers, between those 3 books that I listed, and then, you know, joining online coaching programs, mentorship programs like that, where, you know, masculinity and fatherhood is taught. And if you just like Googled fatherhood, how to be a great father, like you'll find organizations and courses, because this is not like, you're not the only person, whoever asked this question, like he's not the only person suffering through this. And so great men have taken the time to create these brotherhoods and communities where you can then have a different child-father relationship. You know, they always say that you first have that relationship when you're the child and your father may have neglected you, abused you, left you. You can have another father-child relationship when you become the father and you right the wrongs and you live vicariously through your son or daughter. So in that way, if this guy was willing to do those 3 things, he will see that he will be a stand-up man, a role model to his kids. And in the future, he might be that guy that mentors other men who are experiencing his issues. Yeah.
There's another thing too, man, just to add on to that, is you don't have to know these people either. Like you said, you probably know a good father. Chances are, yeah, he probably does, but you don't even have to know them. Like I've had so many online mentors that have no idea who I am.
Right.
Like I love watching Elliot Hulse, and obviously I know you, but I've got a lot of wisdom from your content. Aaron, you know, mentoring me, and well, that's someone I know in person, so take that one back. But all kinds of people online that I just like watching their YouTube content, their interviews and whatever. And you can take bits and pieces from these different men that you look up to, and you don't have to necessarily try and be them, but you can be like them through different qualities and traits. You can pick and choose what works for you.
Yeah.
But there's so many ways that you can fill that void if that's happened to you. So,
dude, you bring up a great point, right? Because if, say someone's a minority, say you're black, say you're Mexican, say you're whatever, any kind of minority, well, arguably it might be harder for you to find someone in person. And you didn't necessarily grow up with a father, right? And so in your position, like you took the time, like you said, you're Aaron Weatherspoon, who we both know, and yeah, you knew him, but he came into your life and he played a role for you. Elliot Hulse. Who did we meet the other day? Mike Rashid.
Yeah, another guy. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's 3 black dudes who, 2 of them I know are great dads. I don't know. Does Mike has kids?
Yeah, Mike does. Yeah.
Elliot has kids.
Elliot has 4.
Does Aaron?
Aaron doesn't know.
Aaron doesn't, right? But he's still talk about it. He taught you how to box.
Yeah.
Like he was a great role model for you. Taught you how to box. He gave you like fatherly, big brotherly advice.
Yeah.
And so that exists. And like you're a great example of, hey, someone who's a minority. And if you were able to find that in your life and then search the internet and find basically father figures that you can learn from, and they may have no idea who you are. Mm-hmm. Interestingly enough, life comes full circle. You just this weekend you met Mike Rashid, and I have no doubt that you're going to meet old Elliot Hulse. I actually texted him just the other day and was like, hey man, I got someone for you to meet. But the internet, social media, YouTube, podcasts, literally put every type of person within reach. Just because you can't interact with them yet does not mean you can't learn from them. And so you bring up a very good point there, yeah.